Health and wellness are more than a destination. They are a process and a journey of personal choice. Come hear from people out in the field, doing the work, bringing health and wellness to many. Welcome, everyone. Today, we're so excited with our guest, and her name is Roxanne, and I'm going to say it, Heibloom. How beautiful. Roxanne has been working for a few years very intensively in the field, I would say in a unique way, of health and wellness. We always look for new ideas and new possibilities, and Roxanne is going to bring us a lot of that today and where the world is going. So I'm just so excited. She has an organization called Awakening Education. Tell me a little bit first about your personal journey to get here. What has brought you here?
Well, thanks for having me, firstly, and hi, everybody. So I'm Roxanne. I'm from Australia, and basically I had a business background before I stepped into our business, Awakening Education, in 2020. So we were business insurance brokers. We sold on Amazon, e-commerce, very 3D businesses. And we had two little boys, Pete and I. They're lovely little conscious kids now, of course. But what happened was we just weren't fulfilled in the 3D. Running these businesses, we were asking ourselves, there's got to be more. What are we searching for here? There's only so many corporate events and, things in the 3D realm that you do. And our higher self guided us to find what that was. And that was basically exiting our 3D businesses. So we sold our businesses and we walked into a 2-year blank between 2018 and 2019. And we kept asking. And basically I was on the beach praying to anything that would listen, basically. I didn't grow up in a religious home or anything like that. Just the standard household, the working class men, they say down here in Australia. But and then one day our brother Dan said, hey, I've just got this this idea to go to Costa Rica and try plant medicine. So, he went to Costa Rica and we thought, oh, that's a bit out there, and little did I know I was having my awakening at that time. And when he got back and told us about the experience, we thought, holy moly, we have to do this too. So I started seeing therapists and doing anything that I could to prepare myself for this deep healing journey. This was a 5-star resort over in Costa Rica where there was a medical team on hand in ceremony, going deep into the inner self, into, healing and merging our souls back to its true, soul, its true divine senses. And so we got back from Costa Rica, and on the way back from Costa Rica, we really knew at that point we were having an awakening, and this was an actual thing on the planet, right? And so we birthed Awakening Education. We were getting downloads and knowings to go ahead and start and take the leap of faith into this new business to help consciousness on the planet and help everyone evolve and start to be of service. So we weren't quite ready there yet to go ahead and, be in session with people and start channeling. But what happened was we developed the brand, the platform. What Pete used to do was teach meditation. So we created that online as our first product, and we didn't really know what we were doing, right? We were business brokers and Amazon sellers, right? So we were kind of feeling our way through it while we were doing the healing work. So every day we worked on ourselves, elevating our frequency, our vibration, eating healthy, going to do breath work, anything and everything to get our vibration up and heal our childhood wounds and integrate our past life traumas. We knew that we had a big healing journey ahead of us. And as we did that, things blossomed in our awakening business, and more came with connection with the quantum field, extraterrestrial life, technology, advanced technologies on ships, and it was very profound. And we were thinking, holy moly, are we going crazy? And thank God Pete was on the journey with me, because if he wasn't, he might have been thinking, God, she's gone nuts, So we were divinely guided, divinely doing it together, which we know is a blessing, and we are very, very grateful for that, you know.
Yeah, so that's really a beautiful story. I know I'm a little bit older, so I can share that I never shared this story, but I also awoken, but it was really a long time ago because as Dolores Cannon, I don't know if you're familiar with her work, but she talked about three groups of light workers coming in onto the planet to help the world awaken. And I think I was one of the first ones. So I was already like thinking, what is this? What's happening? You know? So and it was because I was a nurse. So we all have our moment where we have to awaken, and we're really, we have like the mirror. And so I think you're in that second group of of light workers. That's beautiful. I think it's beautiful also that you named it awakening education. So because the world is in this huge transformation at this exact moment, like I always was saying this time would come. I was talking about it for years, exactly this time. And now when I see it, I couldn't have written it actually. It's quite profound. So it's like funny to watch after I knew it was coming, but I didn't know exactly what it would look like. But I think for you, like, wow. So how did you come to this name then? So, or this organization? Because here you are building this thing. A little more maybe explain.
So Awakening Education was birthed on the plane back from America. So we went there and back in 10 days just before COVID broke out. So the divine really wanted us to get that in. And you know, while I was there, the healing was so hard for me, that transformation phase, you know, healing trauma from my childhood. It was really, you know, life-changing. It transformed me into this brand new person that I was not before. And that's the whole goal of this awakening journey, is to move from that caterpillar into the beautiful butterfly and shed all the layers that do not serve us anymore, those false limiting beliefs that are holding us back from feeling free and feeling love. And so it was birthed on the plane ride back, you know, and it's pushing me. And, you know, it's either, you know, it's a collaboration of all the energies, really. It's our higher self, it's the divine source, it's, you know, the galactic team. It's a whole lot of universal energies pushing us gently into these knowings. And because we were so open from our healing and ready to receive and, you know, very grateful and in our hearts, that's the point. A lot of people are in their head and they're not in their heart. When we're in 3D, though, low frequency, we're programmed to be in our mind, and the heart portal isn't opened, you see. So when we got our heart-brain coherence in flow, that's when the downloads really were seeping into us, and we were guided by the divine. Like, we had no idea what we were doing. It was just like, okay, it's going to be awakening education. And then we got the, you know, triangles were very prominent in my meditations, in my visuals at that stage too. And I was saying, you know, you can create the logo as a triangle. And so we did some research and we thought, oh, this triangle looks good. It represents air, which is critical for a human vessel to be here in terms of breathing. Air is everything for the human. Without air, we don't have life. So that was really sentimental for us. So that's how that whole branding came about, you know. And Pete and I really were conscious of, you know, falling into that spiritual awakening realm that has that identity, you know, that identity of, you know, maybe wearing, like, sorry, and no offense to these people, that's how they want to be, but that, you know, free flowing, no shoes, dreadies, you know, that typical looking spiritual awoke person. We were kind of like conscious, like, we want to be modern spirituality, you know, we want to be the next generation and this be modern, right? So that was our goal around our whole vibe and, you know, our frequency of our business. We wanted to take this to the next level. And that's where we were getting guided to what to do, how to do it. And so, yeah, we were just really in sync with the energy, because in the old, we'd think really hard, okay, strategy, I'm going to hustle. And I'm going to get those sales and do this and do that. Yeah. But we had to throw all of that out the window. We had to just go, okay, I'll just be the conduit and you just, I'll be of service to you, divine. you show me what I need to do. And so we just started going in flow, looking for the synchronicities. Okay, this is happening now. We're getting divinely guided and supported. And yeah, we just listened.
That is so beautiful, because of course we would love for everyone to know that freedom of being in the heart, but it's, most people are just so conditioned to have to survive, and they're not free yet. I think that's so beautiful how you explain that. So we are in this time of great awakening where there is so much change and chaos. When there is an awakening, right? People are chaotic and they don't. Can you explain a little bit about that process? Because I think that's so important for the viewers to hear, that it's not a straight line.
It's not a straight line, and it's a beautiful time to be on the planet. And a lot of us souls have chosen to be here right now. It's called the Great Awakening. It's a cycle of life. There's 4 quarters to that. So there's the golden age, silver age, bronze, and platinum. So each age has about 300 years of the cycle. Okay. So the last time we were in the golden age was back in Atlantis. All right. So that was living. But what happened in Atlantis, the elevation was in 5th density, but they started to manipulate and go on a spiritual, technologically advancement path, which wasn't in love with the divine and in alignment with the planet. So the breakdown of Atlantis happened, and we slipped back over into the silver, back into the bronze age. Okay, so it's a cycle. So we've just entered the golden age in September, I believe, last year. So that means the frequency on the planet is lifting again. So back in Atlantis, it was in 5th density, and it dropped. From Atlantis till now, it's been dropping, and we're back down in 3 density, 3D matrix, where there's, ego, power, control, that's wealth, buying more things to feel happy outside of myself, just really, really disconnected, and separation lives in 3D reality. So where we're at right now is seeing behind the veil. Right now we're seeing the illusion. So right now people are having their awakening in their own way. Okay, so we had a supercharged awakening. If some star seeds and light workers will have that, but some might just want to take it easy and awaken slowly. So everyone's at different levels of their journey and their ascension, and that's perfect. It's beautiful, because that's the flower blooming, right? It doesn't get forced open. Okay, it just naturally sees behind the lens and sees everything, right? So that's what's happening on the planet right now. And we're in a very exciting time to see this, to be in the front row seats in the human vessel, watching this all unfold. It's a history moment that'll be written in many, many books and internets and whatever we have advanced technology in the future, right?
It's very true. I think it's unbelievable what's happening. And I'm amazed. But I also think, like, as you say, maybe for some in the audience, the word awakening could be that we become more conscious, that we evolve, that we're not static as human beings. We're not meant to stay the same, right? That would be really boring. So in a way, this is a really, truly exciting moment, because we're seeing, like you said, we're suddenly seeing everything on a different level, and it's freeing. Because I can share with you, when I had that moment, I was running around going, oh my God, people are beautiful. People are wonderful. I never knew how beautiful everyone was, because you're so programmed that you have to be afraid, you have to be defensive, everybody's separate. The what you described as the fears and the separation and the illusion was so dominant that if you were looking around, you just felt you didn't know how to start. You didn't know how to bring goodness or how to do the good things, right? Because there were some examples, but you didn't know, even in my time, because it was really hard. But I think there's a lot of examples right now. So, and you're one of them.
We're really lucky. We're lucky to have the way shows like yourself that have paved the way for all of us to come through and keep going and keep anchoring the light. So all of the light workers came in as a mission, right? So we all signed up before we came to Earth. Righto, team, we're going to go in, we're going to save the planet, elevate the planet, and save the solar system, because what happens on our planet in this galaxy, in the Milky Way galaxy, is having an impact on all of the other star constellations in this universe, right? So the energy, we're all interconnected. Like, we are all interconnected, but we've got this illusion that we are meant to be separate, right? Yeah. It's just programming, conditioning. It's the frequency on the planet as well, right? So when we see behind the veil and we have our evolution of our consciousness, we go, hang on a second, we all came from source. We're all just here having an experience, and it's the soul's journey. So what we find is, like, light warriors have signed this contract, and it can always be, fixed up and, deleted if they wanted to, because we have free will. But we come in, we go, righto, we'll get down there, we'll elevate the planet, we drop in, and we have the veil of forgetfulness. We forget all of our gifts, all of our natural abilities. We get dropped into the frequency on this planet. We've all come from the high realms. We've all come from high frequency, which is interdimensional. We're all multidimensional, but we forget when we get here. So then we have the childhood and the pain of the childhood. And most of us signed a pretty hairy contract, so we would wake up eventually. And we all timed it for the golden age. We timed it for right now, that we would all be here in this time of the great awakening. And so what we do is we have this moment where we have these awakenings to the illusions, to the corruption. Go, hang on, there's got to be more. This is not just life and death, surely not. And we start questioning things. We start getting really advanced in our consciousness, and then all of a sudden we go, we're not separate. We need to love to save the planet. We have to have unity and love. That's the way forward, right? And so we go, okay, we're going to do everything that we can to heal, to elevate, to anchor more light in our vessel, and that will save the planet. So all of the light workers are around the world. It's not an individual thing. There's not going to be one leader, one person in command. It's a group effort. It's togetherness. It's not separation anymore.
And that is the feminine healing. It is so important. I know, like, my work, my whole life, I was also with mostly women in my family. I'm from 6, but I think it's just really about how we can cooperate at this moment to help rise, everyone, help them all rise at their own rates. So help them be safe enough that they feel good enough to do that, that they can hold on to this hope, to have hope. I think the frequency of hope is so big, and hope is the beginning of the moment where you open something. It's like, oh, wow. There, like you said, you ask questions, there's more. And then you have a sort of feeling inside, wow, that's so amazing that there's more. So I think that's how you explained it is just amazing. So these top-down structures are falling, the old frequencies, the old way of living, the old way of thinking. It's like a sandcastle, right, that you made, and you made it perfectly. And then you start to see that it has little holes in it, and it doesn't really serve you. So then you have to smush it down and build a new one. And so we're in this process, and it's pretty obvious. And even to the people who are stuck in 3D, because suddenly the people who are in the old structures, it's not working as easily. So they're having that's part of the awakening, that they themselves are like, wow, this just used to work. I give you an example, Roxy. Medicines, I'm a nurse. Medicines used to work really well with people and their frequency. And I'm not saying they're not important. They have a purpose, believe me. But sometimes what's happening now is if we give a medicine, the people's frequency is too high and they can't handle it like they used to be able to. So they're going to be searching for other things, like you did. You said it. I went to that place, right, to look at some plants, or you were looking at earth for healing. So I think this is part what's happening to us. So I know part of our evolution is to realize that there's more out in the universe than we ever realized, actually. So as a little girl, I would always look at the stars and I would be like, there has to be more. There have to be other species. There have to be other types of, like, not humans, but beings, right? Just like we have so many animals on the planet. We have so much here in diversity. I was thinking, it's not possible that it only is about one species on Earth. That just doesn't make sense. So I know that we've been seeing a lot of sightings of real ships. I know that's been going on, and even mainstream media is reporting on that. I'm sure that we will find more information out in the future. But how did you find this connection to that world, that other world?
Yeah. Well, it took me by surprise as well because I was very asleep in my sleepy slumber, right? So I was very 3D. And so when we came back from Costa Rica on the plane, again, ETs kept popping in and I was going, what? Who are these? What am I getting? And it actually starts setting up some fear that needed to come out of me. It triggered some fears. So from that point on, they kept visiting me in my meditation. So I would close my eyes and their heads would pop in. And I'm like going, is this real? Like, are aliens real? Because that's what I named them back then, right? Aliens. Aliens real? And Pete's like, what are you doing? Like, he's just like, oh my God, what are you doing? And so little by little, I got more confident. I kept getting messages and started talking to them. They told me they were Palladians. They're from the Pallades star system. They're on a ship. They're representing the High Council of the Palladians on a galactic federation ship, along with other high councils. And it was just like, what? Is this real? Like, I'm very skeptical. I was very skeptical. So little by little, I kept finding out more and more information. And so I was getting these dropping in, this downloading, right? So one day I was in meditation and there was a cord hanging from, above in time and space, because I would go journeying in the multidimensional, in the quantum field up in the stars. So I would remote view my light body, okay, my consciousness, and I was keen to explore. My higher self was taking me there. So I was climbing up this rope. I'm like, where's this going? And then I looked up and there was this huge ship the size of a football field from below angle. And I was like, oh, what is this? So I go in and I go to open the door to get in, and the being came out and was like, hi, it's nice to see you, but it's not time yet. And I was like, what? Oh, I'd like to come in. What is this? And it was like, no, sorry, go back down. You're not ready. And I dropped back into my 3D body and it was rejection. I cried and cried and cried and cried because I didn't like to be rejected. I'm delicate. And I'm sensitive to all this stuff. I've just come back from Costa Rica and, I'm on this crazy roller coaster ride trying to figure out what the hell I'm going through and get a grips on everything, right? And so that was my trigger to go, right, this is something. I know this is something. And it was like a knowing inside of me that there was more out there. So I just worked harder. It just made me go harder into my healing, into discovery of the true, authentic me, and elevate my frequency, my consciousness more and more, did more and more research on YouTube or wherever I could find any information about extraterrestrials, Palladian life, anything, right? Any clues I would follow. And so little by little, I got let up on the ship and we started working with these beings and, they started showing me around the ship and I'm getting more and more comfortable with the whole idea. I'm overcoming that fear.
Yeah.
I'd wake up in the middle of the night. And we live out in beautiful rainforest, so we didn't have a curtain on or a blind on the bathroom window. And I'd, at the beginning, freak out thinking they're going to be outside waiting for me. And so I had to overcome all of that. And so, all of the programming from the 3D realms, the programming from the media that, no, they don't exist. We're the only people in this universe, like all of that programming and conditioning was in my subconscious mind, false beliefs that I had to pick out and undo and release those energy flows. So our goal is to help bridge the gap between our planet and other species. They're not little green men coming out of ships here. If they wanted to hurt us, they would have. And then people say, why don't they come and help us and fix all this craziness down here. It's like, well, they're not going to do the work for us. We need to learn how to become, through that teenage stage into adulthood. Otherwise, we're just going to go backwards over and over and over again. No one's coming to do the work. The soul's evolution is the emotional clearing, and then the wisdom and knowledge on a higher level is given to us. So that's a gift that we earn ourselves. We don't get given this, right? And that's the beautiful surprise that we get as we do this work. More and more is given to us. Like me climbing up into the ship, more and more was given to me as I took time and invested in my consciousness, right?
So almost as if when you are not stuck, you allow yourself another thought. You allow yourself another possibility that there's more in the universe, then more is going to be given to you, because you're giving space for that awareness. You're giving possibilities. So I think what you went through there is totally normal. And I think that's one of the fears of people hearing even this interview. Are you immediately afraid when you hear it? Or are you able to say, oh my goodness, maybe there is something to this, and be open to new things and new possibilities? So I think that's really important.
Yeah, and I think one other thing to add is we've got this program, right? These false beliefs that they're little grey men that's going to come and adopt us.
Yeah.
Eskil the Palladian, most Palladians look human.
Yeah.
Right? You could walk down the street and you wouldn't know it was a DNA of a Palladian. We've all got DNA within us from other galactic experiences, right? We've explored this in, where your DNA strands are highlighting what star constellations you're from. That is a part of the ascension, bringing it all together, right? And realizing and remembering who we are, remembering we're more than this vehicle, this body in this lifetime. Yeah. So we're a collaboration of all of our old versions coming in for the ascension, rising back up into higher states of frequency. Right now, a lot of people go, oh, I can't wait to get off this planet. Well, you haven't learned the lesson yet. You have to love being human. That's why we came here. The whole idea is to have a physical, beautiful experience and enjoy watching your babies grow up. Enjoy them getting their license for the first time. Like, look at them. Aren't they so cute? And just absolutely cherish and adore that, and love going out for dinner and tasting food, because at one moment in the future, we're going to transform into light bodies where we don't have food. This is an experience down here. Right? But we've been trapped in the mundane thinking. We've been trapped thinking that we have to work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, because that's what we do to pay the mortgage, pay the car, 2 days off. That's not freedom. That's just, and there's no blame there at anyone. It's just the evolution of our consciousness on the planet.
Yeah. So how would you describe consciousness?
That's a very good question. Consciousness is the expansion of your awareness. It's coming from, a horse with the blinkers on to all of a sudden one blinker coming off, and then with time, the other blinking, go, oh, there's a whole other world here. Seeing into dimensional spaces, opening up that heart like we saw before, and realizing the heart portal is really the compass to our vehicles. That's the driving wheel, not this.
Yeah, that's like an intuition, right, Roxy? It's like using your heart is using your inner knowing.
Yeah. It's your feeling. A lot of people they've turned off feeling. Right? They don't feel anymore. Every morning I wake up and I go, how do I feel today? Yeah. And I drop into my heart and I say, I love you, Roxanne. Right? Because I'm at the stage where I really need to work on merging and just loving everything that I do. Right? Because I always put myself last. Right? So now I'm merging back with me and I'm just trying to cherish me right now. That's the stage that I'm at. And that's not being egoistic either. It's just realizing that we have to get to that zero neutrality point to be able to really be of service and bring through profound for the civilization. And once we have that like foundation like laid, we can do all sorts of beautiful, amazing, exciting things, right? It's like, this is such an amazing time to be on the planet, but we have to do the inner work. We can't rely on something outside of ourselves to get us there. Money will not buy this.
No.
The new currency is your elevation of your consciousness. The divine, when our souls split from source, it didn't give us a bag full of money and go, good luck.
No.
The money the money exchange is very vital right now for where our civilization is at on the planet Earth. But in other star systems, there's not money, it's energy exchange. The frequency is the currency.
Yeah.
So the whole idea is to do the inner work, create peace within, and that's the currency, because everything else will be abundantly brought into your life. That's the law of the universe, the energy. That's consciousness.
Well, I think you brought up some really important points like that about where we're at right now, and that money is sort of how we exchange energy. It's an energy exchange. And there's nothing wrong with it, but we have to understand that it's just, we don't need to accumulate it. We need to share it and exchange it. And that's been a real like illusion also, that we're not safe unless we have millions or something like this. You can't take it with you, right? This is true.
And, what do you think the person with millions of dollars is worrying about?
That they're going to lose their money. So that's
is it worth it?
Yeah, it's a busy life to worry about that.
Okay.
And I know, I understand. And so and the thing is, sometimes what happens is there's a feeling also of that because you have the money, you're worthy, which is not true. So consciousness is also realizing that worthiness is just what you said. It's realizing you're worthy without anything. You are just worthy. It's not what you do. It's not what you say. It's not who you are. You are just worthy, period. Every human being is worthy. So I think what you say, like you're going through this learning to love, like we all are, we're really learning to love ourselves again. And because that is the lesson that we have to know, right? It's all about that. But we often get caught in other things, distractions. But if we go back, like I love how you do that every day, Roxy. And also many women have always been conditioned to put the others first and to care for the kids and the care. And so I believe women have to be liberated from this also on this planet for us to, and women can be women meaning in a man body, you can have female energy. So whoever's serving only others and never loving themselves, that's not a good place to build that platform of consciousness, what you talked about. So I think you said that very beautifully. Thank you. That was really nice. Okay. So this whole idea of helping people become more aware, become more conscious, is also to learn that they're responsible, that they're creating their lives. So part of the scariness, I think, Nelson Mandela, he said, like, it's about your grandness. Like when you realize you're actually not this little 3D person who goes to work every day, and you actually are not just your left-sided brain thinking, you actually have something more, right? So tell me about that.
Yeah, so like that small time thinking and thinking that you're not worthy of that job or that relationship or whatever the false belief is all programming from the childhood. A lot of our parents were not conscious. They were not opening to even saying that they love their children. We speak to a lot of people that say they never got told they were loved, ever. And I remember sensations of that in my childhood too. It was hard for my mum to even say those words. So can you imagine how much pain she lived through her childhood? And it's no one's fault. Once again, it comes back to consciousness and the cycle of life. We're in the golden age, so we're going to start sharing a lot more love now, whereas back in the day, talking about your feelings was not heard of. It was like work hard, pay the bills, have the children, and, that's life. That's it, big boys don't cry, all of that stuff, right? It was programmed into us. So all in the subconscious mind, we have all of these layers of negative false beliefs and programming, and that conditions and sets up, these negative energy flows for the rest of our life. So we constantly can't get the right job. We constantly can't feel loved. No one ever tells us we're loved ever. Or we might, have trauma, so we never want to open up intimacy with someone, for example. A lot of women can't open up that intimacy sexually because of trust issues. Where did they get the trust issue? Well, they probably got it with dad or mum in their childhood, where they dropped the ball. They maybe didn't tell them or nurture them and say that they love them. So they've been born and grow up with trust issues. So then they go on to have no trust issues with their partner. And, it just grows and grows. It manifests in a negative way if you've got a negative charged layer of a false belief, right? So the society today is breaking all of those chains from the 3D, and we're getting smart. Once people, and, especially women, learn the skills, how to raise your vibration and heal and learn consciousness, we're going to be this full-on evolved civilization, because women, we are the new, not saying that there's got to be one leader, but we've got to lead. The divine masculine serves its purpose. It's the stable energy, so us females can go and flourish, right? But what happens is, in society today, men are running the show, and look at the separation, look at the greed, look how women have been treated over many years as well. Like, there's no love in the exchange, really. So, the earth, the frequency is turning it around, and we're, natural mothers, females are natural carers. We birth our children. We are the creators of the beautiful human body. Right. So we are capable of caring and loving for everyone, not just our children. I envision when I walk down the street, I look at someone and I look at them and I send them love from my heart to their heart, like they're my child, right? How would I feel if it was my child in that situation? And I energetically connect with that, and I hold them on my chest and I give them love, even though they don't know what I'm doing. Someone's struggling, or not even someone struggling, someone just that I feel called to do it to, right? So if women learn the fundamentals of elevation of consciousness, we would grow so fast, because they're coming from their heart. We have the moon cycle, which is continuously tapping us into that emotional state, month after month after month.
I remember this.
You purge, and the household, and everyone's get out of the way because mum's hormonal. But we are self-healing in that moment. We're shedding old layers. There's all triggers. But if we had the skill set to learn how to navigate that moment in the moon cycle, we could go so far. And then, the birthing of, the new moon is a very important stage of the cycle as well, because that's when so much brand new energy flows could come in. So if everyone just knew these skills, if we all do it together, it's going to amplify it, right? So, the feeling is the key. That's the portal. The feelings of the divine feminine, because we're so already there. That's why we need the women to lead in this phase of the awakening.
And we see that that's really quite something, that transition. So if you look at the world, it's not easy to make that shift. And because of the idea or the illusion of power, what is power? And I think this is another question. What is true power and what is false power? So, when you want power over someone, that's never real power, right? So what we really have to know is that power is, in the new time, in this new earth, will be cooperative. We'll be working together to figure out how I use my power well, and how another uses their power well, and how we can help each other, if we love each other, to use our powers for the benefit of the whole. And I think that is a holistic view versus sort of, you would say in science, I'm a scientist, that's holistic versus reductionism. So we've gotten ourselves into a separate reductionistic planet, and we now need to heal it to become more holistic, right? To look at the whole. And mothers always, and women in general, have to be aware of, do we have enough food? What's happening with dinner? We're always looking at the whole. And a man, which I love, because we need men and they're wonderful, they can look at one thing and do it really well. And that's, and of course some men are more feminine. So we're not making a prejudice here, because I know many wonderful men who understand women and feel that connection in what I'm talking about, actually. So another question. All right. So here you are on your journey. You're connecting with this ship, which we don't see with our eyes, by the way. It's not on it is 3D, but we don't see it mostly. Sometimes some people can see it, and that's these things on CNN and everything. But most people, what you're talking about is this multidimensional awareness. Can you explain multidimensional?
Yeah, sure. So that was my first question. Well, if it's real, show me proof, So I got proof in other ways, like I got a download, go outside and you'll pick up a leaf and there'll be a third eye on it. And I was like, what? A third eye is the pineal gland symbol, right? So the one eye. So I went out to where my guide said, where the Pleiadian said, and I picked up this leaf and I've got it still. That's how profound this was. And there was a third eye on the leaf, on the gum leaf. So I'm getting signs, because I was very skeptical, right? So I totally know, for the viewers, it's pretty out there. I get it. But so what they explained to me is, the ship is like the size of a football field. It's being cloaked in the quantum field right now. It's real. It's physical. It can shapeshift. It can move in and out of time and space. And depending on where your elevation of consciousness is really at, that's the capacity you can really understand this knowledge. So you have to kind of graduate a few schools to get to this awareness and this connection, right? So it's all about working on clearing the trauma, okay? So if you can imagine your body like a dirty vase of water, firstly, that holds like dirty brown water. That is the unhealed soul. And then what we're aiming for is like a clear vase of water, right? Crystalline light body. That's where we're trying to get to. Okay, so that's when we're fully like clear. That's like a fifth dimensional consciousness. Okay, so 3D brown water, 5D clear water.
Yeah.
So when we're kind of tapping in and out of 5D, like we're moving in and out of the consciousness. We're not going anywhere. It's a state of being. Okay, it's the frequency that we can perceive into the multidimensional level consciousness. Okay, so the ship is sitting up being cloaked. It's not going to be showing up until the consciousness on the planet is ready. It would be too
scary, right? It would be too scary. Yeah.
They're very aware. These are high frequency beings. They're fifth dimensional beings. Okay, they look like you and me. They're aware that if they show up, they would cause so much chaos and fear and panic. People will go nuts. They can't handle this information because it's been so suppressed for so long, right? So the ship will start. The ships have been showing up in the skies for the right people, okay? So there is an agenda that might occur in the next coming years with fake attacks and fake sightings. They're man-made. So back in Roswell, there was crashes of UFO, and they've reversed engineered how to use this technology. You think back in 1950, the aircraft was going from America to Europe, right? The same time as we are traveling now in 2022. So you're telling me the technology hasn't been advanced since 1950s?
No, it's illusion.
It's an illusion. It's suppression of information, okay? Everything's classified. Anyone that gets any brand new, beautiful ideas, advanced technology, it's all classified. No one can see it, okay? Because it's a private corporation. That's how they get around it. So the idea is to keep people in this illusion, this low frequency, not to think outside the square. But what is happening, galactic energy and solar flares are coming into the planet to help elevate us. It's clearing out that dirty water to make us beautiful, crystalline, and remember who we are. So once we get to a certain level of consciousness globally, because remember, we're not doing it separately anymore. No. We're doing it together. That's the new way. We're going to be seeing and having more interaction slowly as we are getting used to it. You know, people fight still about masks down the street. Like, it's nuts. We cannot have this type of, craft coming in and being like, oh, hey, guys, by the way, we're from another star system. Yeah, we have to awaken slowly to this, because it can the last thing they want to do is over-circuit people's system with the frequency. And then other people ask, okay, why don't the beings come down here? Well, they're aware that the frequency is low here. You know yourself, you said it before, you notice the vibration when you're around certain people. Maybe you go to a certain place and you go, oh, this is a bit yucky. Well, there's probably lower frequencies there, right? The energy is everything. Yeah. So when they come down, they could get sick by being here too long. It could cause a lot of stress on their vessel, on their palladium vessel, right? So they don't want to come down. We've got free will. If we want to connect with them, we can connect with anything, because we're all interconnected. We just have to have that intention. The ship is open for everyone. Everyone can connect to the ship and have this communication telepathically with them. It's about raising your vibration and your frequency and being open to it, not being in that fear state,
And also it's obvious that they have good intention for humanity. They're there to help us with our evolution. They're there to help us raise our frequency and heal. So that's where we're going to go now, because that's the whole point. So multidimensional is on another dimension than what we just see with our eyes. It's what we see physically, this body, but multidimensional means we have different bodies. We have an energy, spiritual body. We have an emotional body. And we can use all those bodies. And as you say, you use your etheric body or your spiritual body to even go around and just travel. And this is some things people do. I am just starting to think about that. But some people, because I'm very grounded. So for me, I have to be more like with my feet on the ground, or I'm going to maybe fly away. I don't know. But I think with some people just have this courage to just try this. And I think that's what it's going to mean, a lot of courage to try something new. But okay, so you're talking about this multidimensional way of living that we have to learn, because we haven't been thinking this way. We've been thinking linear or straight, lines. This is what we've been thinking. So we have to go from here to this multidimensional awareness. And that is quite a transition. For some, like you said, it'll be like this. And for others, it will be slower. But what you found there is that those entities, the Pleiades, were there to help us heal. And they have a technology. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so once again, I'm going to the ship. They're showing me around, and they show me this vibration room. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing advanced technology. And mind you, I have no idea. Like, I'm just exploring because I'm excited. It's different. I'm getting a leaf outside when they told me to do it. It was all really fun, right? And so
like magical.
Yeah, and you've got to remember, I was very 3D. I was like, show me the proof, I hated magic shows. Pete would want to watch magic shows back in our old versions of ourselves. Oh, I can't watch it. I want to know how they did that. I couldn't stand it. And so that's how far I've come into the belief, right? Because of my emotional trauma that was holding me back. But so I get up to the ship. They're showing me this vibration room, and it's like blue, and frequency was amazing. And then they start showing me technology, medical pods, plasma pods, then the medical med beds, and then a few other things. But it was mainly those two pieces to begin with. And every time I'd come back down and out of my meditation state, I would talk to Pete and his brother Dan, who was on this journey with us very deeply. And I'm going, Dan, what are med beds? Like, I have no idea, right? What are med beds? And he's like, oh, yeah, you should watch this. You should watch this. And he sent me stuff. And so I had no idea. And then I, call him back up. I'm like, you know what? I think this is like kind of like a cheat way for ascension. Like, I was like not into it, and so I was like, what is, like, I thought you can't shortcut. That's spiritual bypassing. You can't just get healed by a bed, right? Like, I was so with this belief.
Yeah, because you had done it another way.
That's correct.
Yeah. So you think, I understand.
Yeah. And of course, like my upbringing and my mindset was control this way. This is like this and this. And it wasn't explore and try a different taste out at dinner. Like, it was always, for example, chicken satay sticks at Thai. Like, Pete's like, why don't you try something else? I'm like, because this is my favorite. And he goes, you've never tried anything else. And I'm like, all right, I'll try something else. So I was very in the box, right? So for this to come up, I was like, I didn't want to feel embarrassed by it as well. That was another thing. Like,
the judgment of others. Like, you have to get over, like, I think I also did that because I had also to bring out new technology in nutrition and the understanding of a new science. And you have to get over your fear that people will judge you for that. So but we all have a mission to be true to ourselves. So you had a choice there, Roxy, to be true to yourself or to, and you were true to yourself. That is so amazing. That's a really great example for other people listening, that they follow their heart, because in the end you wanted to know about it, right?
I did. Yeah, I was intrigued. I had to get over that little speed hump there, but I got up there and I started using the technology, and then they're like, you can bring people up here if you want. I was like, oh, all right. So I was like, Pete, you want to come? Dan, you want to come up? And so slowly but surely, Dan's like, you know what? You could become a healer doing this. And I was like, what? Taking people to the ship. Like, I'm just like, oh, come on. Like, we've done, it was just so crazy and wild and out there. And I had to take the leap of faith, like you said. And so, I started just taking people, and then the Palladians like, start sharing this on YouTube, start showing your story. Like, it's real. Like, this is real. We need to make it real. One of your missions that that you happily signed before you dropped into the planet was to bridge the gap between our planet and the galactic, because so many beings were asleep here. Like, it was going to be a tough job because everyone was in their sleepy slumber. So to get them to that level was huge. And here I am discovering this technology and bringing it out. And look, I know that there is people that think that the technology is on the planet. It might be true. I don't know. I have never seen it. But this is where we take the light body together with our frequency up to the quantum field, because you've got to remember, these people mightn't be able to get there yet because of their frequencies.
And I say something maybe that's helpful, like for my work. I know that some people, where their consciousness is, they need to see a physical thing to heal. They're not going to be ready for what we're talking about. That's okay. So, because many people will have to actually go into a medical bed, they see with their eyes. But I want you to know that in the end, it's the same. It's just where your consciousness is. So if they choose, there are these medical beds coming. They're physical. I know them. I've seen them. They're also, I'm doing another interview on someone who has an egg. It's a real egg, and it really works. It really has an incredible, profound effect. But I think what it is, Roxy, is we each have to find our own way. This is your path. And some people will love this way to heal.
Yeah.
And other people will need to go into the physical way. Or they'll have to, like you said, dabble in just nutrition at first, because they don't feel good. Their body's so weak, so tired, so lacked in nutrition. They just start to eat better. And that's their way. So each person will have to find their own way. But I think what's beautiful about what you're saying is that for some people who are really ready for this kind of technology, which is in the etheric, so it's not, and it's in another dimension. It's not in the 3D physical yet that you're talking about, that we can see. I think that for some people, this is the way.
Yeah, and right now, this might be how we elevate the light workers for now, and elevate more people on the planet so we can get advanced technology here. So for the time being, yes, we can connect with Palladians, we can get downloads and messages and guidance. They're not going to do the work for us. We have to do the work. They'll guide us and give us little pointers. But what we do when we get up to the ship, we get their light body into the med bed, and their light body is their energy body. Okay. So the cord is always connected to the physical realm. And we bring, at the end of the session, we bring you back. We don't leave you hanging out there.
Yeah.
And we merge you back in. Right. So we've really got to start to realize that we're so much more than this vehicle. Right, we're a soul having a human experience. We're wearing human clothes right now, right? And so we have to, that's the multi-dimensional, the consciousness, that's where we expand to realize all of this. And so we get you in the med bed. There's plasma. It's plasma light. The frequency up there is generated from source in the galactic, and the plasma is high frequency. And for me, I see it like an X-ray vision when the person's in the bed. And I see the energy centers, I see the organs of the person, and I see where we need to go.
So when you're seeing them, you're guiding them, right, through this process to see what's coming out, or where the issues are in their life, where they're stuck, where they're not, they're scared, they're fear, old belief systems that are holding them back. And then you help to release those. It's just so beautiful.
The process, we have to get the person to have the knowing, to understand. That's the part where we need to be able to talk to them, because so we get the information from our guide, the galactic guide that's there in session. And mind you, we have all different guides that come in from the Octarian star system, the Andromedan, the Lyra star seeds. They come in because they're soul family of the person that we've brought to session. And normally they're so excited because it's like they're finally getting it, because they can't prod us because we've got free will. They can't intervene. They're not just going to go, oi, you guys, what are you doing? They're waiting for us to go, there's got to be something else out there, and so we have to take that initiative to learn more, to expand. That's the soul's journey, to do it ourselves. And then they're there waiting for us. It's like, yeah, they're so excited. They've got this soul up here. We get to communicate with them. That's how it is when we're up there. It's high vibrational. It's fun. When we've got to do the serious work, we do the serious work, right? We talk deep. We go so deep. And most of the time, people's souls have been fractured because the trauma in the childhood was so overwhelming. They kind of split from their soul, and half of their energy body kind of comes out of their body, and they feel like something's missing their whole life. And then they get into session and they realize, oh, that's when something really bad happened in my life, and they come to realize. And then we help rewire the subconscious mind, but they have to have the knowing. They have to meet the emotion to heal it. We're not fixing anything for anyone. We're guiding them. We're supporting them. We're holding space and loving them like a mother would, and that's how this works. You can't get through the stargates without love. Every session, every transaction with anybody has to be love, and that intention only, that pure intention of helping them to serve for love. So they're happy, like you would like to be loved and nurtured yourself. That's how you treat other people.
And I think, Roxy, that we're coming to an end here, but it's so amazing to think about that we have the potentiality to be this love. So I think if people can get anything from this, what you've said today, which is so absolutely, for many will be shocking, and for some will be exhilarating. Some people will say, I've always known this and I love this. Others will just be like, that's crazy. It doesn't matter where you're at. If you're listening today, the message is about going to your heart, starting to love yourself more, and starting to heal the wounds of separation. And, to be health and well, we talk about health and wellness. To feel good every day, we need to do this work. And this is so amazing how you said that. So I just want to, end with asking you what you see for yourself in the future and for the planet. And it's incredible, huh?
Well, with what I've kind of achieved in the last 2 years through this growing and expanding and adapting to this new concept, right? We've come so far. Like back 2 years ago, I wouldn't have told you I was talking to Palladians in a ship using med beds, right? Like absolutely not. So my intentions for the future are quite big, right? And so that we have to stretch ourselves. We have so much power within, good power too, loving power. So if we have to stretch ourselves and plan these beautiful, profound, exciting life. For me, it's more about the experience, the thrill of an experience that I want to achieve. Like I want to travel around to all of the energy centers around the planet and feel that and show my children this is the heart chakra of the planet. This is the root chakra down in America. Like I want to take them through the experience, right? So I guess that's really my intentions, just to have experience of deep love and gratitude, and also help the planet, be of service in any way that the divine wants me to. I'm there.
Beautiful. Oh, Roxy, I love this. Thank you. And I know one more thing, you have education where you train people to be able to do what you do, which is it a certain name? Like I know you do healings, you help people in the med beds, but you also help do this training so people can learn to do it.
Yeah, so we have a 5-week program where we teach you everything we know about how to access the ship and do this healing. And everyone can do this. We lay the foundations with the heart-brain coherence. We teach you that. And then we go from there. We build up from there into the quantum field. It's called the How-To Medbed course.
Okay, great. Okay.
So very wonderful. Simple. It's on our website. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, listen, it was like my pleasure and honor to have this special moment with you, and also to help you, let you share your story, because we all have a story. And I think I ask the audience also to come from your heart, to look at the story in a new way, and think of a possibility in your life where you were thinking of something different. And also I think, Roxy, how you explained how you never could imagine this, and then you were in this. I think that's the beauty of life. I think what you just shared is what we need to get in touch with again, the magic and the mystical of life. And so I thank you for your story from my deep heart. And I just think you're amazing. And I wish you all the best in all your work.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We thank everyone today for joining us, and we ask you all to come next time as we continue to explore new technologies in health and wellness. Thank you.